Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge,
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
and let's talk horror. So today we are joined by the amazing Shihan Van Clief. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're very, very excited to have you. But before we talk about why you're here, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. We're talking about your feature film, My First Horror Film, which is going to be
Yes.
very hard for me to say throughout this whole interview. But you're talking about, is this your first feature?
This is my first feature, and hopefully another one before the end of the year. We'll start our next one. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Awesome.
So, what was your inspiration for this film?
The quick version of the inspiration was one of my best friends. We watch movies all the time. We talk a lot about television and film, and he says to me one day, he goes, "You know, you're a snob, right?" And I go, "No, I don't think so, because I'm super critical of everything." And he goes, "No. Admit you're a snob, and then I'll tell you why it's important." And I go, "Okay, I can be a snob." And he goes, "Well, the problem with being a snob is that if you're always critiquing people and never putting something out there for them to critique, you're just an asshole. And so you have to create something." And so he gave me the book, Rebel Without a Crew, Robert Rodriguez's book. And I read the book, and then we watched the docuseries based on the book. And he said, "If you can get this film done for this amount, I'll give you the money for it." And basically from that moment on, because I love challenges, from that until the end of shooting was about 6 weeks. So I wrote the script in about 3 weeks and started shooting. And yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was a whirlwind of, oh snap, as it was happening.
Yeah.
Right. And I was actually just going to ask you, like, how quickly the project came together. And 6 weeks, including script writing, casting, all that. That's, like you said, it's definitely a whirlwind.
Yeah.
So what were some of the challenges to having such a short time?
Sheesh. I think the writing and finding locations was one.
Okay.
Finding the right actors was super important. I did a lot of research just because there were films that inspired it, including the first two Halloweens, Blair Witch, Barbarian. Oh yeah, I see them in the back. And Friday 13th, and second one. And I grew up big John Carpenter fan, and so the first movie my father ever took me to go that I remember well seeing in theaters was The Thing, and I was about 6 or something like that when that came out, and so it was kind of like it's stuck in my head. And I think I wanted to honor, the process of what it was, but then honor some of the people that I felt inspired what it was.
Yeah.
So, right. See, and that to me, especially when you're trying to pay homage to the people that came before you, I always feel like that's really important,
Yes.
Yeah.
Part of the reason there was no blood was the original Halloween. Very little blood. It's like almost background kind of blood. So there was something there that definitely drew from who they were. So yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
You don't need a lot of blood to still be scary.
No.
So yeah.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give us a little non-spoiler synopsis of My First Horror Film?
Yeah, so it is about my first horror film is about a aspiring YouTuber or influencer who is documenting her journey to booking her first film, and then things start going a little strange on location, and she winds up having to, fight for her life and the life of the castmates. Everyone starts going through it. It's the quickest, non-spoiler version.
I like it.
Well, for those of you that haven't seen the trailer yet, we do have the trailer, and we are going to play that for you guys right now. So here is the trailer for My First Horror Film.
Hey everyone, welcome to my new channel, Scream Queens Are King, where we discuss everything horror from the perspective of me, your lead. Where are they? I just booked my first horror film! The warning.
Every horror movie has one.
Dun dun dun. Maybe he knows something.
They're gonna try to take you from the light. Especially the pretty ones.
Okay, so if you've been following me, you know I've been documenting my journey to booking my first horror film, and today's the first day of production for me. And even if it's a low budget film, I'm gonna make the most out of it.
All right, Jock, you still have outstanding paperwork. Production is set up right in here inside to your left. Girlfriend, you're gonna go to wardrobe right behind production. Black guy, you also have outstanding paperwork to complete, all right? Also, say hello to the cameras right behind you.
I'm the director. It's my chair. You're sitting in it.
Oh,
Three, two, one.
And there you go, guys. Now you guys have seen what the trailer for my first horror film is.
Yeah.
And again, this is something, passion project. We always talk about indie film, passion projects. You're not trying to make money, you're trying to make a great movie.
Yeah.
So
you're taking all these things and all these people that came before you and trying to just be a part of the horror genre,
Right.
which is awesome.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience on set? Did you have a good experience for the most part?
Yeah, we had a good experience. I think it's a mixed bag when you're doing your first feature. You're learning a lot of things on the fly. Your crew's pretty small, and you're trying to get as much done in the little amount of time as you have. And so, I think overall I had a great time. I think there were some great things that happened. I think one of the scenes we had, we shot on a ranch in California. And we shot in Connecticut as well, but most of the film is on location in a ranch. And one of the scenes is the cops show up. And one thing I realized, again, after we shot this scene was, it's a cop scene. So they're freeze, put your hands up. He's got a gun, all this yelling going on. But we never told any of the surrounding ranches or families that we were shooting anything. So the next morning, we get a call from the woman who owned the ranch. And she goes, "Is everything okay over there?" I go, "Yeah, sure. Why?" She goes, "Because our neighbors were calling saying we keep hearing people say, 'got a gun.'" And I was like, "Oh, no, everything's fine. It was part of the scene." So there were things like that were good.
Yeah.
There was a big rewrite in the middle of shooting that kind of changed how the film progressed, which I actually think worked out. We actually changed who winded up being done off. So right in the middle. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Changing it up. A little twist.
Right. I can just imagine you going to the neighbor's house the next day, like, "Hey, we just want to let you guys know that we're filming over here. We're making a movie. And if you fucking snitch on us again, it's not good."
Yeah. We're like, don't do that at all. So yeah.
Right. That's hilarious.
So obviously with indie film, we talked about how this is more about substance and story than it is about trying to put out a cash product to make money. So what can people expect out of the film?
You know what? I think one of the things I'd love for people to take away from it is the rarity of being able to walk away from a horror film and actually feel lighter in mood.
Yeah.
I think the humor in it was super important for me, so I wanted people to get that and enjoy it, and literally and sitting back and just taking it in as what it is. I think walking away thinking that it came up very natural. I felt like the actors, I thought we casted extremely well for this film. I think everybody did their job and did it in a way that there's almost this improv feeling of how things are kind of taking place. So yeah.
And that actually, like I said, when you have things like that come out, a horror movie that can make you feel lighter is sometimes a blessing.
Yeah.
A lot of us use horror as therapy.
I was gonna say, yeah, I definitely, sometimes when I'm feeling, it's comfort.
We have our comfort movies.
Yeah, you have comfort in horror, which is awesome, and I love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is my thing.
So I know you said you went and seen The Thing in theaters.
Yes.
Here at Sledgehammer Horror, we asked people what was their first horror movie. Was The Thing your first horror movie?
The Thing was the first one I can remember seeing in theaters, but I'm trying to think. I'm timing things out. So American Werewolf in London, The Howling, The Boogans, they all kind of came around that same time-ish. So, but I remember distinctly going to see The Thing with my father.
Nice.
And watching that, but I'm not 100% sure if that was the first.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Altered States was in that realm too, like around that time. So there were a bunch. I love horror. My dad is a super cinephile, so we used to watch movies all the time. And to this day, I'm watching probably 4 or 5 films a week still. I still love film that much, so I love to watch everything. I'm a big horror fan. My wife, not so much, so she doesn't go with me anymore to the theaters to watch stuff. or watch at home. But yeah, I watch as much as I can. Yeah, but I think I'm pretty sure it was The Thing or The Boogans. I'm literally like, I'd have to look it up to see now.
Yeah.
Right.
Which it was, and I remember seeing The Boogans and with my aunt, and I remember her covering my eyes at the end when they're chasing them down the and she poked me in the eye, and I was like this, and I missed the scene because literally she poked me in the eye because she thought I was too young for what was happening on screen.
And you know, you don't even really need the glasses; those are just an eye protector now, so you can watch film without getting poked.
Exactly. This happened over COVID. This is what I left COVID with, was glasses. I didn't have COVID until I had to be on screen all the time, and then my eyes said, "Oh no!" and gradually stopped.
Well, man, I do want to thank you for coming out and spending a little bit of time with us and talking about my first horror film, which I said is very weird for us because if you don't know, Sledgehammer Horror, the main thing we do on this podcast is my first horror movie, where we bring the guest on to talk about the first horror movie they watch. So when we saw that we were getting, I was like, yeah, we got to talk about this. Like it's only fair. So, I know I should have said it at the beginning, guys, but I didn't. The film is out today, so we have the links for the film down in the description. Check out all his social media links are down in the description as well. So make sure you're following him. You kind of hinted at it a little bit ago, but you talked about how hopefully you're going to be doing something else. Can you talk about that, or are you under NDA for that right now?
Actually, I can kind of mention it. So it is going to be more in the thriller realm. It is a cross between like The Fugitive meets. It sounds going to sound random. And Thelma and Louise, it's a story about a support group for survivors of abuse who track down the abusers and fuck them up. Basically, that's what the story is. So that's what we're going to be working on next. And so we're working out what this budget will be, because it is going to be a completely different setup than my first horror film was. As far as like budgetary restraints, we'll have a different kind of budget, a lot more to kind of be able to do things. So that is something I'm looking forward to. I think we have some people already who are the asks to be part of it. And I think cameos is also a thing that we are going to carry on in the projects moving forward, and having these cameos of people show up that are not necessarily like mentioned until you see the film and go, oh, I didn't know that was part of what it was. So yeah,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Those are always good when you have those Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh,
yeah.
You know, when you have those moments when you're watching something. So, you know, again, we appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us for a little bit. But if you wouldn't mind, please hang out for a second. We got a couple more questions for you. Everyone else, as always, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.